Welcome to Dreamy Tales, where soothing stories guide you into a peaceful night's sleep. Enjoy imaginative bedtime stories that take you on a journey to the land of dreams, accompanied by relaxing background sounds to help you unwind and drift off easily. Perfect for both children and adults, Dreamy Tales is your ideal companion to relax, wind down, and enjoy tranquil moments. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share it with others. Tune in, relax, and let your mind wander into a world of calm and serenity with us. Deep in the heart of the jungle, where the trees grew tall and the vines twisted like wild rivers, there lived a clever young chameleon named Charlie. Charlie was no ordinary chameleon. Of course, like all chameleons, he could change his colors to blend into his surroundings, making him nearly invisible to predators and other animals. But Charlie had something that made him different, a fascination with color itself. While other chameleons changed colors out of necessity, Charlie did it for fun. He loved turning bright green to match the leaves, or a warm brown to blend with the bark of trees. But what excited him the most were the stories of the legendary Rainbow Rock, a magical stone hidden deep within the mountains, rumored to shine with every color of the rainbow. One day, while basking in the warm sun, Charlie overheard a group of birds chirping about the Rainbow Rock. They talked about how it was so beautiful that anyone who saw it would be filled with endless joy. They said the rock shimmered in colors no one had ever seen, and its magic was so powerful that it could make anyone who found it feel like they had discovered the secret to happiness. Charlie listened intently, his little heart racing. He had heard whispers of the Rainbow Rock before, but never from anyone who had seen it with their own eyes. According to legend, it was hidden far away, deep in the mountains that loomed in the distance. Many animals had tried to find it, but none had ever returned. Still, Charlie couldn't stop thinking about it. The idea of a rock that glowed with colors he had never seen made his tail twitch with excitement. He imagined what it would be like to stand before the rock, his own scales glowing with the reflection of every color in the rainbow. "I have to see it for myself," Charlie said one bright morning as he sat in his favorite tree, watching the sun filter through the leaves in a spectrum of golden hues. "I'm going to find the Rainbow Rock, no matter what." With that decision, Charlie's grand adventure began. He didn't tell anyone about his plan, not even his family. After all, they would just worry about him, and they probably wouldn't believe he could do it anyway. So early the next morning, before the jungle had fully woken up, Charlie packed a small bag. Inside, he tucked away a few tasty leaves for snacking, a tiny pouch of water, and a map he had found of the jungle that marked the edge of the mountains. Slinging the bag over his tiny shoulder, he set off, his heart pounding with excitement. As Charlie wandered deeper into the jungle, he marveled at the sights around him. The trees were taller than he had ever noticed, their trunks thick and ancient, while birds of every color flew above him, their wings glittering in the sunlight. The jungle was alive with the sound of chattering monkeys, rustling leaves, and the distant roar of waterfalls. But as beautiful as it was, Charlie kept his eyes focused on the horizon, where the mountains towered in the distance. That was where the Rainbow Rock waited for him. It wasn't long before Charlie ran into his first challenge. He was crossing a clearing when a shadow passed over him. Looking up, he saw a large bird circling high above, its sharp eyes scanning the ground. Charlie quickly darted into the underbrush, his skin shifting to match the greens and browns of the leaves around him. He held his breath, watching as the bird swooped lower, its eyes glinting in the sunlight. But thanks to his camouflage, the bird flew right past him, unaware of his presence. "That was close," Charlie whispered to himself, his heart still racing. But he wasn't discouraged. If anything, the danger made his mission feel even more exciting. "I'll just have to be more careful," he thought as he continued on his way. The jungle was full of surprises. As Charlie ventured farther from home, he came across things he had never seen before. There was a river that sparkled with light, as if the water itself was made of tiny stars. He saw flowers as big as his head, with petals so brightly colored they almost hurt his eyes to look at. But no matter how beautiful these things were, they couldn't compare to the thought of the Rainbow Rock. As the days went on, Charlie met other animals who were curious about where he was going. Polly the parrot was the first. She swooped down from the trees, her vibrant red and blue feathers catching the sunlight. "Charlie, where are you going?" she squawked, perching on a branch above him. "I'm off to find the Rainbow Rock," Charlie replied proudly. Polly tilted her head, her bright eyes gleaming with interest. "The Rainbow Rock? Oh, that's a long journey. Are you sure you can make it all the way to the mountains?" Charlie nodded. "I'm sure. I've heard it's the most beautiful thing in the world, and I want to see it with my own eyes." Polly flapped her wings excitedly. "Well, good luck, Charlie. But watch out, the mountains are full of tricks. They say that the path to the Rainbow Rock changes every time someone tries to find it." Charlie thanked Polly for her advice and continued on his way, feeling a little nervous but more determined than ever. The thought of the path changing didn't scare him, it just made the adventure even more thrilling. Next, Charlie met Timmy the tortoise, who was slowly making his way through the underbrush. "Where are you headed in such a hurry?" Timmy asked in his slow, deep voice. "I'm going to see the Rainbow Rock," Charlie said, his eyes sparkling with excitement. Timmy smiled knowingly. "The Rainbow Rock, huh? That's a tough one to find. But remember, it's not just the destination that matters, young one, it's the journey." Charlie nodded, but his mind was already racing ahead, picturing the Rainbow Rock in all its glory. He couldn't wait to see it, to feel the colors reflected on his scales. The journey became tougher the closer Charlie got to the mountains. The jungle gave way to rocky paths and steep cliffs, and the air grew colder. But Charlie didn't mind. He knew he was getting closer to his goal. Finally, after days of traveling, Charlie reached the base of the mountains. They were tall and jagged, their peaks hidden by swirling clouds. "This must be it," Charlie said to himself as he stood at the foot of a steep cliff. "The Rainbow Rock is somewhere up there." Taking a deep breath, Charlie began to climb. It was the hardest thing he had ever done. The rocks were sharp, and the wind howled around him, but Charlie was determined. Higher and higher he climbed, his tiny feet gripping the rocky surface. His heart pounded in his chest, but he didn't stop. Finally, after what felt like hours, Charlie pulled himself over the top of the cliff and collapsed, exhausted but triumphant. When Charlie opened his eyes, he gasped. In front of him was the entrance to a cave, glowing faintly with every color of the rainbow. The light danced on the walls, casting a magical glow over everything. "I did it," Charlie whispered. "I found it." Stepping inside the cave, Charlie felt like he had stepped into a dream. The walls sparkled with colors he had never seen before, vibrant purples, shimmering golds, and deep blues that seemed to pulse with life. And in the center of the cave stood the rainbow rock. It was even more beautiful than he had imagined. The rock seemed to shimmer and glow, shifting between colors, as if it were alive. Charlie stared in awe as his own scales began to reflect the colors of the stone, turning him into a rainbow of shimmering light. For a moment, Charlie stood completely still, letting the beauty of the rainbow rock wash over him. It was everything he had dreamed of and more. But as he stood there, something else dawned on him. The journey to get here, the challenges, the friends he had made, the beauty he had seen along the way, had been just as magical as the rock itself. "I found what I was looking for," Charlie said softly to himself. But it wasn't just the rainbow rock. It was the adventure, the colors of the world, and the things I learned along the way. With a smile, Charlie turned and began the journey home, his heart full of joy and his mind full of memories. His scales glowed with the colors of the rainbow, but it was the adventure itself that had truly changed him.